All right, let's talk about golf. You know, that game of endless frustration and, every once in a while, pure glory. It's this weird mix, right? A peaceful walk through a beautiful park that's also a full-on battle against physics, the course, and, let's be honest, mostly your own head. So let's dive into the incredible world of golf.
You know, Winston Churchill just absolutely nailed the beautiful absurdity of it all with this quote. It really frames that central challenge that's hooked people for centuries. You're trying to do something incredibly precise with tools that feel, well, totally wrong for the job. So if it's that difficult, why on earth do we love it so much?
And that's a totally fair question. Because for a game that's famous for being so hard, its appeal is just massive. So what is it? What's the secret sauce that gets this game under our skin and just stays there?
Well, it really boils down to something kind of primal. If you strip away all the rules, the etiquette, the fancy clothes, what are you left with? You're left with the simple, deeply satisfying act of swinging a stick and hitting something. That fundamental impulse, that's the hook. And that hook is so powerful, it's the reason this game has been around for so long. The game's roots, they run deep, way back in Scotland. It was already so popular in the 1400s that King James II actually tried to ban it in 1457. He was worried it was distracting everyone from archery practice. Of course, that didn't work. By the 16th and 17th centuries, everybody was playing along the coast. It took until the 1800s for clubs to start popping up and making things official, and eventually the Royal and Ancient Club at St. Andrews kind of became the keeper of the rules, shaping the game we all play today.
But of course, those simple sticks and balls didn't stay simple for very long. The history of golf equipment is really this fascinating arms race, a nonstop technological battle to get any kind of edge over the laws of physics.
I mean, think about it. Back in the day, clubs were made of wood, like persimmon, and steel. And honestly, the difference between one club and another was pretty small. But today, it is a completely different universe. We're in the middle of a composite revolution. We're talking drivers made from titanium, graphite, all these crazy advanced materials. You've got movable weights to dial in your shot, and computers analyzing every little detail of your swing. It's wild.
And it's not just the clubs. The ball itself is this tiny marvel of physics. And the secret? It's all in the dimples. See, a perfectly smooth ball creates what's called laminar flow, which sounds nice, but it means the air basically bails on the ball super early in its flight, and it just dies. But the dimples, they create turbulent flow. It's a bit of chaos that actually forces the air to hug the ball for longer, cutting down the drag and letting it soar way, way farther. So what does all that fancy airflow talk actually mean out on the course? It means a modern, dimpled golf ball will fly about 150 yards farther than an identical, perfectly smooth one. That's a mind-blowing difference, all thanks to a few hundred little dimples.
Okay, so you've got the game, and you've got the gear that's constantly evolving. The stage was set for the people who would come along and master it all. So let's talk about the legends, the players who didn't just play the game. They became these true cultural icons.
You can almost chart the history of pro golf by looking at its great rivalries, specifically its triumvirates. These were these incredible eras where you had three dominant players just battling it out, pushing each other to get better and better. The very first one had Harry Vardon, J.H. Taylor, and James Braid. Get this, between the three of them, they won the Open Championship 16 times in 21 years.
And then along came golf's first real showman, Walter Hagen. Back in the 1920s, pro golfers weren't exactly treated like royalty. They were often literally not allowed inside the clubhouses. Hagen, with his flash and his style, just wasn't having it. There's this legendary story where he was told he couldn't use the clubhouse at the Open Championship. So what'd he do? He had his chauffeur park his limo right out front, and he changed his shoes in the car in front of everybody. He completely changed the status of the professional golfer.
A few decades later, Arnold Palmer came along and did for golf on TV what Hagen did for the pros. See, in the early days of television, golf was kind of boring to watch. But Arnie's charisma, his go-for-broke style, and his massive, adoring fan base, Arnie's Army, they changed everything. He made golf must-see TV.
So with all these giants of the game, how do you measure greatness? For decades, the answer was just one single, almost mythical number, 18. That is the record for major championships, a record set by the Golden Bear himself, the great Jack Nicklaus.
And then Tiger Woods showed up. And he didn't just raise the bar, he completely redefined what was even possible. He played in his first PGA Tour event when he was just 16.
After maybe the greatest amateur career ever, he turns pro in '96 and just starts winning. In '97, he wins the Masters, shattering records. And his win at the 2000 US Open by 15 shots, it's still one of the most dominant things anybody has ever done in any sport, ever.
But these legends, they didn't make their mark in some random field. They did it on hallowed ground. The golf courses themselves are just as much a part of the story. They are the cathedrals of the sport, the arenas where all this history gets made.
So, generally speaking, you've got two main flavors of golf courses. First, you have the links course. This is the OG, original form of golf you find on the coasts of Scotland. It's all about untamed nature, big dunes, sandy ground, and always the wind. Then you have the parkland course. Think inland, lush, perfectly green, with tree-lined fairways. It's more manicured, more protected from the elements.
And of all the parkland courses in the world, there is probably none more famous, more revered than Augusta National, the home of the Masters tournament. As Tiger Woods put it, it's just one of those places you fall in love with. It's got a kind of magic that's hard to describe.
So what makes Augusta so special? Well, it's a whole bunch of things. It's the shocking elevation changes you don't see on TV. It's the deep history, like the Champions Dinner tradition. It's the danger lurking on the back nine with Rays Creek. But more than anything, it's the greens. They are famously notoriously fast and sloped. They demand a level of precision that is just off the charts.
And that kind of brings us full circle, doesn't it? From that simple primal urge to swing a stick, all the way to this world of high-tech gear, legendary rivalries, and these dramatic, historic arenas. Which leaves us with one last thought. Where does golf's real magic come from? Is it in that beautiful simplicity, just a stick and a ball? Or is it in the endless, maddening complexity of it all? You know, maybe the answer is, it's both.